Hi, and a big welcome to your Metabolism Reset Makeover training. I'm going to show you exactly how women are losing 15 to 30 pounds without dieting harder. This is not going to be an endless sales pitch or any of that nonsense. I'm going to give you real actionable advice that you can take away with you so you can achieve results just like Candice did. 30 pounds gone after 25 years of being stuck, eating more food, working out less, but with everything with more efficiency. And so you are getting questions like this. Friends running into you wondering whether you're on Ozempic, and actually you're saying, no, I'm just able to do this now. So in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about your metabolism. And it's probably going to be the most in-depth explanation that you've heard that is going to properly help you lose this weight and be able to keep it off. Okay, so let's get into it. So firstly, before I jump to anything, who am I? I'm Hannah. I was a corporate lawyer for years before I left to do this full time. And the reason I left is because I spent years doing everything right, getting nowhere, until I understood what was actually happening with my metabolism. I lost 20 pounds eating more food than I had in years, and now I have helped over 1,000 women do the same thing. And by the end of this, you're going to understand your body in a way that makes the last few years of frustration finally make sense. Okay, so let's get into it. So, what is your metabolism? First things first, most people have this wrong, and it really matters. Your metabolism is not a speed setting. It's not something you're born with. It's not something that's either fast or slow. That is not what it is. Your metabolism is the sum total of every single chemical reaction that happens in your body to keep you alive. Breathing, digesting, regulating temperature, repairing tissue, producing hormones, all of it. Every single thing your body does costs energy. And your metabolism is how we manage that energy budget, okay? And here's the critical part. It's adaptive. It responds to what you do. It speeds up, it slows down based on the signals that you send it through food, through exercise, through sleep, through stress, which means if your metabolism is sluggish right now, and I suspect it is, otherwise you wouldn't be here, that is not a permanent state. It's a response, and it can be adapted and it can be changed, and that's the good part. So your resting metabolic rate, aka the calories you burn just keeping you alive before you do anything, accounts for roughly 60 to 70% of your total daily energy expenditure. So when your metabolism slows down even slightly, the impact on your ability to lose fat is enormous. And this is why two women that you see can eat the exact same things and get completely different results. Not genetics, metabolic rate. And when we fix it, these are the kind of results that we can experience. Kerry being in better shape in her 50s than she was in her 30s. Angela finally losing weight and keep having to have her wedding tailor take her dress in. Kaylee shaping up her entire body. Hannah realising how easy weight loss should feel. Just to name a few. So what are the telltale signs that your metabolism is suppressed? I want you to go through this list and be really honest with yourself. You're tired all of the time, not just busy tired, but that real deep fatigue that just doesn't fully go away. You can barely eat anything for a few days and you won't lose a single pound. You can lose weight, hit a plateau after 2 to 3 weeks, and then it just stops. Even though nothing's changed, weight loss just stops. By Thursday or Friday, you're ravenous, like genuinely can't stop thinking about food. Monday to Wednesday, completely in control. End of the week, disaster. You've come off a diet before, eaten normally, gained the weight back faster than you lost it. Maybe you work out consistently, but your body composition just isn't changing. Your mood is low, your motivation is flat, and you feel like your body is working against you no matter what you try. This are all telltale signs. If you resonated with 2 or 3 of those, it's likely that your metabolism is suppressed, not broken, not to complete disaster, not permanently damaged. That's not how it works. You cannot permanently damage it, but it's suppressed. And there is a big difference, and that really matters. So there are 4 main things that will suppress your metabolism. And as women, I can say this as a former corporate lawyer, we are uniquely positioned to be hit by all 4 of these things simultaneously. They are restriction, chronic cardio, cortisol, and sleep deprivation. And I am going to take you through each one, because when we understand each one, we can then make sense of the fix that helps us correct this. So, number one, restriction. This is a big one. And the reason why almost every diet you have done up to this point has ultimately failed you. I don't really care if it worked to help you lose 20 pounds. If we're now 25 pounds off where we were, it didn't work, okay? So here's exactly what happens when you significantly cut your calories. Week 1, your body's running on stored glycogen, the scale drops, you feel amazing, you think it's working. Week 2 and 3, your body has now registered the reduced intake and it activates what's called adaptive thermogenesis. And in plain English, what that means is it makes itself more efficient. Your body is very clever, but it reduces the calories that you burn at rest, remembering those calories make up for 60 to 70% of our overall expenditure. So in essence, your body down-regulates your thyroid hormones, which directly controls the metabolic rate. It reduces the energy that you expend on non-exercise movement. You fidget less, you move less without realizing it. And from week 4 onwards, your body starts breaking down muscle tissue for fuel, because your muscle is metabolically very expensive to maintain. Less muscle means a lower metabolic rate. And as it prioritizes storing fat, specifically visceral fat around the abdomen, that is where our survival reserve lives. And this is why by week 4, weight has gone stagnant. This is why by week 4, most ladies give up. So by week 4 of a diet, you're now burning significantly fewer calories than you were at the start. You've got less muscle, and your body is actively prioritizing fat storage because it's spending too much energy trying to keep your muscle mass alive and awake, okay? So then you get frustrated. Not your fault, I understand. You come off the diet. Your metabolism is now slower than what it was before you started, which means that you go back to your normal food intake and the weight comes on rapidly, faster than when you lost it. And often you will keep gaining more and more weight. It's not a lack of discipline, it's a completely predictable psychological response of the diet metabolism cycle. And every single round of restriction we go through makes it worse. Now remember, your metabolism isn't broken, it's suppressed. And that's the good thing, because we can turn this around, okay? But firstly, second cause, chronic cardio. This one really surprises people because we've been told our whole life that exercise and more exercise equals more results. But actually, it doesn't. So what this acts as is a cortisol trigger. Every bout of moderate to high intensity cardio raises cortisol, and in small doses, that's fine. That's normal. We're not saying we don't want any cortisol. That's not how we would want it to be. But if we're doing hard cardio 5 to 6 times a week, often in a fasted state because we're getting up at 5 a.m, on top of an already stressful job and inadequate sleep, your cortisol is chronically elevated. And your body adapts. It gets better at the exercise. It burns fewer calories doing the same work. It breaks down muscle for fuel during the long sessions and essentially suppresses our thyroid function, which slows our metabolic rate further. So that, coupled with restrictive diets, we're now seeing the perfect storm brewing. And then again, that concept of metabolic adaptation, it works exactly like the dietary restriction. Your body becomes more efficient. Your body's very, very clever. And so we see fewer results, which of course is the opposite of what we want. And then in our heads, we think, let's do work, let's do more work. And it keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. We get more exhausted and we just don't understand why it's not working. We keep adding more and more workouts to it. We keep adding because we think more exercise, move more. And the body keeps down regulating, okay? And it's not working because of the exercise volume. And it's also not working because we're doing the wrong type of exercise. We need to do exercise that is going to boost up that metabolic rate. And again, remember, your metabolism isn't broken, it's just suppressed. So what actually builds a faster metabolic rate is having more muscle tissue, okay? And that's what we get when we are training through progressive strength training, lifting weights with the intention of getting stronger and building more lean muscle, not turning into the Hulk, but building more lean muscle, okay? So muscle is what we call metabolically active. A pound of muscle burns roughly 3 times more calories at rest than a pound of fat. So increasing your muscle mass directly increases your metabolic rate permanently, not just whilst you're at the gym. Number 3, cortisol, which kind of links to my last point. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. It's produced by your adrenal glands in response to any perceived threat, physical, psychological, physiological. In short bursts, it is essential. So let's not listen to those people on the internet that are saying it's all bad. It gets you out of bed, it sharpens your focus, it mobilizes the energy when you need it. But chronically elevated cortisol is not what we want. And chronic means days, weeks, months of sustained high stress, which is the reality for most of us in high demanding careers. It increases blood glucose by stimulating the liver to produce more sugar, giving you that 3 p.m. energy spike followed by a crash. It directly promotes visceral fat storage around your abdomen, so your body is storing energy close to vital organs for the emergency that it thinks is coming. And it suppresses the thyroid hormone production, which slows your metabolic rate. It breaks down muscle tissue because it's in survival state. And remember, muscle is expensive and unnecessary to a body in this state. So it dramatically increases appetite, specifically for high sugar, high fat foods, because we are craving energy. And the body wants energy fast, and this is where it's going to come from. So the pattern of a stressed corporate woman skipping breakfast, mainlining coffee, eating well during the day, then absolutely raiding the kitchen for cereal at 9 p.m. is not a character flaw, it's the cortisol doing its job. And here's what makes it particularly annoying for women like us. Restriction is a cortisol trigger. Hard exercise is a cortisol trigger. Poor sleep raises cortisol. So for us, corporate women, this is the perfect storm. Okay, and this is why we want to shift it to help us in turn really shift the weight. And the fat around the stomach area isn't there because you're not trying hard enough. It's there because your body is in this sustained stress response and it's doing exactly what the body is evolved to do. And then finally, sleep deprivation. This is the one that most of us underestimate. And here's what happens to our metabolism when we sleep less than 7 hours. Ghrelin, your hunger hormone, increases by up to 28%. Leptin, your satiety hormone, decreases by up to 18%, which means you're significantly hungrier, significantly less able to fuel on the same amount of food. Your cortisol is elevated, your sleep deprivation is a physiological stressor, and your body responds accordingly. Your insulin sensitivity decreases, meaning the body is less efficient at processing carbohydrates, more likely to store them as fat, and more prone to blood sugar crashes that drive cravings. And your growth hormone, which is primarily released during sleep and critical for fat metabolism, muscle repair, is suppressed. And actually there was a landmark study that put 2 groups of people on identical calorie deficits. One group slept for 5 hours and the other group slept for 8.5 hours, And over 2 weeks, the sleep-deprived group lost 55% less fat and 60% more muscle than the well-rested group. So when I talk about sleep, this is why it's so important. Same food, same deficit, completely different body composition outcomes. 7 hours is not a luxury, it's really a requirement. And for corporate women who, and it is sad, but we do wear that sleep deprivation as a badge of honour, it's not a good thing. We cannot out-diet or out-train a chronic sleep deficit. It will almost undo everything else that you do. So, now you understand what's suppressing your metabolism in lots of detail. The fix is logical once you see it. You stop restricting, you start fueling, you swap chronic cardio for strength training, you bring cortisol down deliberately, you protect your sleep like it's a business priority, because for your body it really is. So let me take you through exactly what that looks like. Fix 1, eating enough of the right things. The goal is not to eat as little as possible. The goal is to eat enough that your body feels safe enough to stop hoarding fat and start burning it. And there are 2 anchors at every meal, protein and fibre. Protein. Most women are significantly under eating protein. And higher protein preserves muscle mass, which we know muscle is metabolically more active. It increases satiety, increases that thermic effect of food, aka how many calories we burn by digesting food. We're talking 20 to 30% of calories in protein are burned through digestion. Compare that to 0 to 3% of carbs and 5 to 10% in fats. Protein is essential, and it works in more ways than just preserving our muscle mass. So we want to aim for roughly 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. Okay, now there is some slight nuance there. We don't want to be a chicken and egg munching machine, and that's why the ladies I work with them on it. But that's that kind of rough guide that we are looking for. Then we have fibre. Okay, fibre really helps to stable blood sugar levels, fewer cortisol spikes, dramatically reduced cravings. Too much, we tip the wrong way. Too little, we tip the wrong way. We want to be aiming for 25 to 35 grams per day. Vegetables, legumes, whole grains, lentils, fruit, skin on vegetables. Not obsession, just a clear ask of fibre and protein when it comes to your nutrition. Fix number 2, strength train 3 to 4 times per week. Whether that is in the gym, whether that's at home, in a hotel room, 30 to 45 minutes per session tops. Less exercises, more weight, more reps, better form. We will see significant body recomposition when we have more lean muscle on your body. You do not need to be in the gym every day. For women with elevated cortisol, which is most corporate women, training more than 3 to 4 times a week is often completely counterproductive. There are times where women will come into my world and I will strip down their 6 days a week of working out to 3, and they will see significantly better results. In fact, Kerry, who I showed you earlier, who's in better shape in her 50s than she was in her 30s, we stripped away 6 workouts a week and changed them to just 3. We need recovery for muscle to actually grow. Muscle is built at rest, not in the gym. When we train our muscles, we rip the muscle fibers. When we rest, they fuse back together, and that's how we get lean muscle growth. And that only happens at rest. If you're traveling, a hotel room with a resistance band and your own body weight is enough to maintain that muscle mass. And we can build in all of those things. I help the ladies stay consistent regardless of what they've got going on in their life. And over time, as muscle mass increases, your resting metabolic rate increases with it. Not when you're just training, but permanently. And that compounding effect of strength training, eating really well, is something that endless cardio just cannot replicate. And remember, when we see ladies running marathons and you're thinking, yeah, but every runner I see is, not like that. Remember, they are able to rest. They're not then going to work, doing all these things. They're able to rest and recover adequately. And that's the difference here. And then we've got our lifestyle levers. These are really unsexy ones. The ones that, if we do consistently, unlock results in the women that are stuck. First, 8,000 steps per day. Not a workout, just movement. Walking keeps our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or what you may have seen referred to as NEAT, elevated throughout the day without triggering a cortisol response. Doesn't take away from our recovery, and it is essential. A 10-minute morning walk before screens, or at least just getting outside before we pick up the phone, okay? Because that's going to really help with keeping our cortisol under control, which we know is one of the biggest things that causes that metabolism to downgrade. 7 hours of sleep. We covered it. Treat it like it's a meeting you cannot cancel. A wind down routine to allow your nervous system to calm down. My day ends closing my laptop, decaf tea, little sweet treat usually. There is a downtime, and then get quality night sleep, okay? And look, the odd night that doesn't go our way, there are things that are completely unavoidable, uncontrollable, the kids wake up in the night, whatever it is, then it's a different ball game. What we're talking about is chronically. I'm talking about years and years and years and years of getting no sleep, not the odd night, the odd week, the odd sleep regression. I'm talking about chronic undersleeping because we're working too late. We're waking up far too early. We're getting up at 5 a.m. every day, trying to smash big workouts. That's the thing that we need to change. And then the identity shift, okay? Everything I've taught you today, the protein, the strength training, the steps, the sleep, it works. And it works every single time and for every single woman who applies it consistently and runs it for long enough. We can't give up because we know this is a proven system. Consistency requires something deeper than a plan. It requires an identity shift. If you see yourself as somebody who is always trying to lose weight, you'll always be trying to lose weight. Every slip becomes evidence that you've failed, you're not good enough. Every busy week becomes the reason to start again on Monday. All the all or nothing thinking becomes the reason that every single weekend we give up. The shift is, I'm trying to do this, to this is just how I live now. I can't stress how important this is. This is probably the biggest hack that I will share with you. We need to see ourselves not as the woman who's trying to lose weight, but as the woman who's already done it, and we act accordingly. This is just how I live now. You don't decide every morning whether to brush your teeth. It's just part of who you are. And that's the goal for the way we eat, the way we move, the way we sleep, the way we feel. Not effort, identity. It doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a decision that this is the last time that we're going to start anything. We're not going on another diet, we're changing the system, okay? So if I bring this all together as a reality check from everything I've shared, 3 meals a day based around protein and fibre, not perfect, just meals with those things present. 3 to 4 workouts a week, strength training in the gym, at home, in a hotel room, 30 to 45 minutes, 8,000 steps, a morning walk, 7 hours of sleep, and wind down time at night. Regardless of what anyone ever tells you online, it's disgustingly simple, but applied consistently in the real world with client dinners, travel plans, bad weeks, high stress, compounds into something really, really significant, and it feels so hard to run. Now, I applied this. I'm not talking about this from a period of, made up. I applied this myself. And I built the system that I wish I had when I was a corporate lawyer. And that's exactly the same system that over 1,000 women have been through at this point, lost weight more easily than ever. But most importantly for me, they've been able to maintain that weight loss, not just for a couple of months, but for years. And they know exactly how to turn the dial. So if they go on vacation and they eat and drink too much, and that's okay, they don't come home and think, oh my goodness, I've got to crash diet. They just know how to turn the dials and get right back on control. And oh my goodness me, that's so powerful. So powerful when you've got that knowledge. And the women that I coach, like I said, do the same thing. So Kerry lost 22 pounds, kept it off for 5 years. Candice, a CEO, lost 30 pounds and has kept them off for 6 years after 25 years of being stuck. Catherine removed 6 workouts a week, went down to 3 workouts a week, not getting up at 4 a.m. And finally, she's toned and she's maintained the results for over 3 years, eating the same as her family. So you've got one homework task today. Before I finish, I want to give you one thing. Track your protein for one day, just one day, not to restrict, but to see where you actually are, okay? And I want you, if we're somewhere around 40 to 60 grams, I want us upgrading that to 90 to 100 grams. That's the gap. That chronic underfueling of protein is one of the biggest drivers of metabolic suppression that I see. Just look at the number. Get that right, we'll start to see energy cravings go down, 3 p.m. energy crashes start to disintegrate, feeling actually satiated, going to bed not feeling absolutely ravenously hungry. I promise this is going to be huge for you. And that's the masterclass. And I hope it really gave you something genuinely useful today, something you can come back to again and again and understand your body, understand that you're not broken, understand that your body has been responding exactly as it was intended to, rationally, because it's trying to protect you. And when you're constantly fighting against it, the result is you not having the results that you want. But now you know what to do instead. And of course, look, you've got 2 options. You can take what you've learned today, you can apply it, you can piece it all together, or you can let me help you build this around your life, your schedule, your stress levels, take the thinking work out of it and allow me to fast track that progress. And either option is valid. Most ladies, may take option 1 and come back to me in a couple of weeks and say, oh my goodness, I wish you can help me, and we'll go through that journey together. There is an application form below this video if you want me to help supercharge the progress, the results, take the thought work out of it, remove the decision fatigue. I know you're busy, I know the exact environment that you're operating in. Then complete that application. We can have a quick chat. We can see if what I do is for you. no pressure, no nonsense, no rubbish. I just don't operate like that. But you can apply and see if I can help you, okay? And I really wish you all the best. If you have questions, fire them over to me. I'm an open book. I'm in my messages, I'm on my emails. Fire them over to me, and hopefully I will speak to you very, very soon.